What's up, Junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Here to recap Week 6 of the college football season and Week 5 of the NFL season, and also just kind of chit-chat a little bit about Monday night's game. I'm Michael Larson. That's big brother Jared Larson and Scott Panza. Here to recap it all, fellas. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Life is good. I mean, outside of apparently the rest of my family is a little hungover today. Everyone went a little too hard in the paint. It was hot outside yesterday in Gainesville, and we got smoked. So, I feel great, but it was a tough one for our Auburn Tigers yesterday. We got beat. There's really no other way of saying it. I'm not this romanticized version of the refs screwed us or anything like that. We got beat. Our freshman quarterback looked like a freshman. Mm-hmm. That's really all there is to it.
Sure.
Were you guys getting taunted walking out of the stadium? I imagine you're in Auburn gear. And did the Florida fans let you know it?
It wasn't bad. I actually expected a little worse. We did get water bottles chucked on us at the end of the game, which I thought was weird.
It wasn't like they weren't targeted at us. It's just for some reason the students, when they score, just start hucking bottles of anything.
Full bottles of whatever. And soda, water, Gatorade.
Yeah, projectiles.
I didn't get it.
Do they serve beer at Florida games? No,
but I had some of the special sauce along with me.
Well done.
My favorite part of going to Florida games is because Gatorade is in partnership with Pepsi products. They have to serve Pepsi at Florida, and in the South, it's like, what's Pepsi? I want a freaking Coke. So that's always my favorite thing, but it works out for our family because we like Mountain Dew. So I'll take that.
I was going to say, you get Mountain Dew.
Exactly.
That's the best.
It's a win.
That's the good stuff.
Mountain Dew does not mix well with Canadian whiskey, Scott. So I had to have a Pepsi.
Yeah, good point.
I think actually I'll have to research it, but I believe Mountain Dew is actually originally created to be a mixer with whiskey because of how sweet it is.
This has to be fake. This cannot be real.
That sounds like fake news.
I'm going to find it. I'll tweet it. I don't care. So
if anyone, I was going to say, tweet it out there, see if anyone knows, or if they can, better yet, I need a source. This can't just be my first cousin's brother's uncle's dog said so.
Well, is your dog, cousin's, uncle's, sister's, brother's dog's name Brian and star on
That was
Family
completely
Guy?
It was completely off the cuff. I don't even know what that actual relation or if that dog actually exists.
Yeah.
Probably not.
So we were talking before the show, and so I was the only idiot between the two of us, and I think I said it on here, or I might have said it to Jared privately, that I'm super juiced about. I felt so good about Auburn after Mississippi State going into this game. And I was like, that is the worst place for me to be in mentally, because when I expect us to be great, everything horrible happens. Everything horrible happens. It's just...
It always let you down.
Yeah, it's the Auburn. When we were ranked high, we suck. And then when we're unranked, that's when we go to the national championship. It's the same with the Vikings, honestly. It's just when there's high expectation, just crumble under the expectation. So... I was 12-11 going into the weekend. Jared was 13-12 for college picks. Jared and I both, again, just looking to get above that 500 mark. 3 weeks in a row, we've not done too hot. Both of us going 2-3. I thought for sure my LSU pick was genius. It was 7-6, I think, after the first quarter for Utah State. Just had to cover the 28. The statistic was LSU was beating non-Power 5 teams by 27.5. That was the average for the past 10 years. So I was like, perfect. Right where I need the line to be. Awesome. LSU, I just absolutely blew them out. They got game day next week against Florida at 8 o'clock. That's going to be an absolutely rowdy environment. But more from that later with Jared and I. Minnesota and Central Michigan were my two wins. Central Michigan actually gave Eastern Michigan the business. And then losses, Auburn, Army, and once again, Utah State. Do you want to recap your college picks real quick, Jay?
Yeah, winners, Cincinnati, keep your points. Vegas, outright on Friday night, taking down national champion UCF Golden Knights. Another winner, Iowa State, bloodbath. And then losers were Kansas State never close Army, and got hooked on West Virginia. So it was 11 earlier in the week. I didn't bet it till 10.5. Felt dishonest giving you guys an 11. They lost by 11. Win some, you lose some. Wrong side of the hook on that game.
Yeah. So that actually brings our totals for the season at Jared at 15-15 and me at 14-14. Gun to the head, Jared actually comes out on top for the first week ever with a 2-1. He had Michigan and Ohio State.
This season actually.
What?
Not ever.
Yeah, whatever. Everyone, they know what I mean. The only thing that matters is now.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. So that brings our totals. I'm 5-3, Jared 3-5 on the year. Both of us having Ohio State, Auburn, and then our coin toss was between Iowa and Michigan. Scott, I know you're having a pretty good day there in the NFL, correct?
I'm having a very strong day. If it wasn't for the Bears, it would have been a monster day, actually. But I'm very pleased to have a 4-1 in the pocket, 4-1 in the Super Contest Gold, and a 5-0 in one of my Circa entries, which is great because the second quarter just started, so 5-0 in there feels really good. Where I was right was Vikings was all over the Vikings. It was my biggest bet of the day. Kirk Cousins doing Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock things against bad teams, which is beautiful to watch. Ate the chalk with the Pats, the Eagles. Those guys they just steamrolled today. I had them in some teasers. Cardinals gave me a sweat. Bills, some bad coaching decisions and they just keep on rolling. I love it. It's so
money.
great.
Printing the money.
It's huge, just huge. And then actually,
huge.
What do we give out? I won't take credit for it. What did you give out for total? 5.5 or 6.5?
It was 6.5. It was 6.5 on the East Coast.
They're 4-1 with 2 games against the Dolphins still in their back pocket.
And a game against the Redskins, which is fantastic.
There you go.
And so they go on by this week and then 3 straight home games. And Jared and I have been talking about going up to Buffalo for week 8, Buffalo versus the Eagles. And, keep having weekends like this. I may have to make the trip.
They keep lining the pockets. I'm going to have to make it happen.
Yeah. So I'm very pleased with the weekend. It's just if the Bears could have just covered. But feel very good about, what happened so far this weekend.
They got punched in the mouth. And I think that just kind of set the game plan. What did they get down? 14-0, 17-0?
21-0. It was 21-0 in end of the first half. And then came out second half firing, but just, Chase Daniel just isn't going to be able to lead touchdown drives to go ahead.
Right.
Well, I guess that's what I was going to say. With Chase Daniel quarterback, 21 goose the wrong way is not a position that you want to be in, and not a high probability of success from that point on. Winning the game maybe, but covering what was it in the contest? 5?
It was 5.5. I got it earlier in the week at 4.5, but it was never really close. But they did have the stupid penalty. The Raiders were about to punt it away. And they ran into the kicker, 5-yard penalty, and then they went for it on 4th down, got it, and went down the field and scored a touchdown. So, sometimes you just got to eat it on those. Just, I'm really curious about what's the optimal way to play the London trip. So the Raiders were out there all week; they seem pretty fresh. The Bears flew out on Thursday, and there's some talk about being jet lagged. When the Pats have gone, what they've done is take the red eye, play the game, and then fly right back. That would, in my opinion, or what I would think, intuitively, that would be the worst way to go out there because no one's getting a good night's sleep the night before. But apparently that's the way to go because they've crushed when they've been in London, always winning by double digits.
Well, part of that is they're the Patriots.
Yeah, I know.
But I
awesome,
tend to agree with you. Either the red eye over there would be kind of risky. As Micah and I have traveled abroad, I guess if you do it and then just play the game. See, the problem is, you're so gassed. But again, they're not flying coach between, a couple of fat people. They're like first class. They can sleep. I don't know. Maybe they have beds.
They have their own
But-
plane, Jared. They have
Yeah, I
two
know, that's what
Patriots. Yeah, they got the good stuff.
So you have the beds. You could do it. I mean, who knows?
They got a massage parlor on this dang charter. I mean, they're ready to rock.
Yes.
They're like, oh yeah.
Did I already
Kraft's
say
in the
what I
back.
saw on
just
Twitter?
Don't go back there right now.
No.
Did I already say what I saw on Twitter about Robert Kraft saying that Antonio Brown just rubbed him the wrong way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. All right.
Another
wanna
game where I
reiterate
was
that.
wrong. Where I was wrong was on the Falcons. I scooped the 5 points, and once again they just disappoint me. And I mean that team is in total disarray. And next weekend they got a game at Arizona. Could you imagine if they lose that one to a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback? I mean, giving up 53 points when you're supposed to be a defensive-minded coach is just embarrassing.
What I don't know is where the hell was this last week for my Wonkavator pick, Houston?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's 16 last week, and then I mean, I understand that Indy, the teams that they played, but like 53 points. Could I just transfer maybe 10 of those to last week? No. Wonkavator did cash easy this week though with the Saints -3.5, never in doubt. Actually, I bet -3 this morning, but and Scott and I were talking a little bit about this before the show, before hitting record. I am floored that the Bucs continue to be such a popular selection, one in the betting markets, but also two in these contests. Like, Jameis Winston did exactly what you would expect him to do today. Never in contention. He actually threw 2 interceptions that were called back because of, I think one was offside, and then the other one was a defensive holding that was fringe at best. So add 2 additional interceptions onto whatever his total was for the day. They were down 14 most of the second half, got a garbage time touchdown, I think with literally 13 or 14 seconds left on the clock to cut it to 7. But felt really good about the Saints. I will continue to look to play against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
Yeah, I think next weekend's really juicy too. They're flying to London, and this is Bruce Arians, who's never done this trip before. I'm sure he's not really thinking ahead to optimal strategy for traveling to London. I would expect that David Tepper leadership would have the Panthers mindset a bit better, but Ron Rivera is the coach, so all bets are off.
Riverboat Ron.
Yeah, Riverboat Ron.
Win for it today on 4th and 1. Did you see that?
What's that?
It was 4th and 1 on like the 11 or 12 yard line. They were up 4, and he went for it, and they got stuffed.
Stuffed.
It ultimately didn't matter. But I'm like, go up, Sep.
Okay, so for anyone who got added to the email distro this week, great to see all the people interested in reading it. A little bit about the format. So last year, what I would do as part of my, going through weekend games is I would email Jared on Thursday mornings, and it would be a rundown of all the games I was considering, the games I was staying away, and the reasons for it. Kind of evolved this year into a Friday morning email throughout the end of last season and beginning of this season, into games I was considering for my slate for the weekend, and some games. So the locks are typically the games that I'm going to bet the most money on, that are going to be in my card for sure. The potentials are the games I'm looking into and probably going to bet in some fashion, depending on some news. And then the others is games I'm just not too sure about. And, this weekend was just a really, uncertain weekend for me. I think I wrote about it. I talked about it on Thursday. And so some of the games that were in the others, they made it into my weekend card, and I flip-flopped on a game or two. But typically what you can expect is 3 to 5 locks of games that I'm definitely eyeing, and then some potentials, and then others which I just, puke out a quick if you guys have any feedback that you want to hear or see in that email, let me know. But I get a ton of fun writing it, and it started just me and Jared going back and forth, and now a wider audience, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I've been reading it now for a year and a half, so that's it knows. I know that when I log into my inbox and go start clicking on Friday, seeing Scott's email brings me great joy.
So I wanted
They used to be personalized to me, and now it's like a broader audience, so I don't always.
It's still
Get the
addressed to you, my
personalization.
man. It's still to you.
still a love letter to you, Jared. It's just not
That's right.
everyone can read it.
Everyone can read the Scott and I's hall notes
Yeah, it's just,
with hearts.
Exactly.
Hearts dot the I's.
The teacher
He had to
taught
change
you
that,
guys passing
reformatted.
notes, and now you had to read it in front of the whole class.
Yeah.
I will say,
Another thing.
I think I don't think people pass notes anymore. They just text each other.
Well, I know, but was it a thing? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school, if you were caught passing notes, you had to read it in front of the class.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's enough to scare me into not
Yeah,
writing notes.
Yeah. 'Cause most of the time it was about the teacher, which is,
I was gonna say, there's probably some great content in those things.
yeah.
Like that's super scary for whoever's doing it, but I'm sure it's amazing.
I was gonna say about that Raiders game, what I think is just hysterical with the NFL is, so let's get in a time machine and go back. I'm in Minneapolis, and the Vikings absolutely manhandle the Raiders. Then jump a week ahead, Bears manhandle Vikings. Then a week later, Raiders come out and are manhandling the Bears. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, that just shows you that you never really know what's going to happen any given Sunday, you know?
Any given Sunday.
So,
Yeah.
It's true.
pretty interesting. And then I was going to ask Scott
Who
about
said it's NFL? All these NFL teams are filled with NFL players.
me.
Like, no, somebody said that. It's like, thanks, great insight.
Yeah. Trent Dilfer. You can't
Everyone
lose
except the
games in the
Dolphins.
NFL
Yeah.
and still win.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Always wordsmith that Trent.
Super Bowl ring, though.
Yeah,
Super
that's
Bowl
right.
ring. The then I was going to ask you follow up on what you think the best plan of attack was, and you already beat me to it. I was going to say, how do you got to travel if you want to play well over in Lundy Town? But Scott, did you watch any college football this weekend? Did you have any games on Saturday?
I watched a little bit of Auburn, Florida, and I was just rooting for you guys.
Aw.
But I didn't watch too much college football, I'll be honest. And then I had a buddy who was at the Miami game,
Oh.
and that, what a roller coaster ride that one was. But no, I didn't tune into too much college football. A little bit of the Ohio State game last night. What did they end up winning by? Did they cover the 20?
They did.
Yes, they won by 24.
Oh wow.
Yep, Georgia covered. Wound up firing them and out of tilt and anger after the Auburn game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Decided not to post it because I knew it was not a wise choice on my part. So, I didn't watch the Pats today. Sorry, Scott, I didn't cheer for them. I think I saw like 2 plays.
It was ugly. It was an ugly win, but I mean, Colt McCoy at quarterback.
Well, I mean, ugly win by what, 25 points in the NFL?
yeah,
You'll take those.
Yeah, I'll take that all day. And then we got Danny Dimes coming to town on Thursday night. Short week, rookie quarterback. Defense is dialed up. They have a new nickname for the linebackers, the Boogeymen. I kind of love it.
What's the number? 12?
No, 17.
Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see if Saquon's going to be playing. That may adjust my opinion on that one, but I mean, they should just torch that defense. It shouldn't be even close. But tweeted it out, and I'll mention it right now. The look ahead game for next weekend. I imagine the spread will eventually move, but if you can get a 3 on the Titans traveling to to Mile High next weekend, I freaking love the Titans. After getting embarrassed, and after this game, the Bills were chirping Taylor Lewan quite a bit. So, the Titans are a team that plays with a lot of emotion. It's still Joe Flacco on the other side, and they're going to be laying points. Buy the Titans if you can get a 3 immediately for next weekend, because I think they're going to lay it on these Broncos, who are now feeling themselves after a win. No. That was in division, a Chargers team that we were down on from the beginning of the year. This is going to be a smash spot for the Titans, so I'll give it away right now. Titans next weekend, buy it as early as you can if you can get a 3.
Yeah, I try not to look at the look aheads. Actually, I'll
Look at the look
tune
aheads.
it out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I like that. I just think it's funny.
It was after
is,
I started working on the week 6 already tonight because I was a little bored. There was only 2 games on in the 4:00 slate, so and neither game was really in doubt. So I started working on week 6 already. But you'll be really, really intrigued to know that the Redskins and the Dolphins are playing next weekend. So one of those one of these teams has to get a win. So good for them. Or maybe they'll tie. They'll play to a 0-0 tie with Josh was in Dwayne Haskins.
Ugh.
Puke fest.
I mean, you cannot play Colt McCoy after today. Can't do it. Just
mean,
throw
Haskins-
something in there and just live with it.
This is the perfect spot for Haskins to play. I mean, playing the Dolphins, they might as well be a college team right now.
Yeah, so did Haskins get any run today?
No. It was all Colt McCoy.
I mean, it's
Oh,
unbelievable. They stick. I mean, Haskins went from, I can't believe he got snubbed, that the Giants went with Daniel Jones, and then Haskins now gets one run with the Redskins, and now he's just in their constant rotation of quarterbacks
I think
that they've
don't-
had for years.
Well, I don't think they want to ruin his confidence. Like, I think they know that the team is so shit that they don't want to roll him out there because he's just going to get slaughtered.
Yeah. Jared,
So they're going to say, hey,
now I know we've talked a little bit about some lines for next weekend for college football. There's one I wanted to ask you about, and that is just because it's early, but the Florida at LSU that was mentioned earlier
13.
open at 13.5
Lay
is
it.
what I'm seeing.
lay it.
You thinking they're going to be the
The only reason that game was even all night. Those 7 o'clock kick. Cajuns are going to be out of the cage. It is going to be so rowdy in there, and they're going to beat the brakes off them. 2 years in a row, they've been wanting to get this game back in Baton Rouge. Lay it now. Get the less than 14. I could see 6, 7, maybe even 8 sacks on Kyle Trask, and probably some sack fumbles, just like what you saw with the Auburn Tigers. We couldn't move the ball. That's really what it boils down to. The offense was terrible, and Joey B down in Baton Rouge is spinning it. So I think I could see something. I could see a 38-10. I could see a 38-14, 38-13, something along those lines.
And
LSU big.
Other one, the big noon kickoff or whatever the heck Fox is trying to jam down our throat. Oklahoma.
With Big Ten shit.
Yeah.
That nobody cares about.
Well, no, this one is Oklahoma, Texas, so Red River. Texas,
okay, all right.
Texas getting 9.5 early.
I would be inclined to take Oklahoma, to lay it with Oklahoma.
Really?
Which you guys, anyone that's listened to this show more than twice knows my allergy to laying points and eating chalk. But this is a spot where I have been high on both these teams all year and will continue to do so until further notice. I don't think Florida's a real threat. I think Texas is more of a threat to Oklahoma than Florida is to LSU. So if I'm stack ranking those in order of confidence, it's LSU 1, big gap, then Oklahoma.
And Miami is favored by 1.5 at home versus Virginia. That's not a typo.
Yeah, gross. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
That thing stinks.
Yeah. So, quick thing, Sunday night game. Do either of you have any action in that? And is Arrowhead might be still? That's the loudest place I've ever heard in my life. On TV, it's extremely loud. I can only imagine in person.
Yep, I have Colts plus 11 in the contest and a ticket in my pocket. I think I mentioned it on the preview pod, and Scott and I were talking a little bit about it before hitting record. I just don't. It's going to be very difficult for Kansas City, in my opinion, to cover these big numbers with the defense playing at the level that they are. Extremely porous. It's hard to cover double-digit numbers if you're going to give up 24 to 30 points a game.
Right.
It's just what it comes down to. So I'll probably be looking to play against the Chiefs with any team of any capabilities at Arrowhead, and then I'll be looking to lay the points often with the Chiefs on the road because I think that offense travels well and they can't stop anybody anyway. So they'll win games, but they're not going to do it by double digits.
I have a circuit entry with the Colts. I have a little ticket in my pocket, not a big bet, but I'm on the Colts tonight. And then Should we talk Monday night or?
Oh, anything
That's
for
what I
tomorrow?
was about to ask. So, Monday Night Football, not Candlestick, but Levi's. 49ers
Nice.
minus 3.5 versus the Cleveland Browns.
I think I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Niners coming off a bye. Defense rested up for this Browns team. But maybe the Browns learned something last week when they laid it on the Ravens. But I feel okay. It's not going to be a big action play, but I do like the Niners tomorrow. I hate laying the hook, though, but I think I'm going to do it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll be no play for me, but I will be tuned in. This should be a good game, the first really in this season at least as it pertains to Monday Night Football. Outside of the first week double dipper, where everyone's just so excited for football to be back that they watch trash because they're like, "Yes, it's back." I will probably watch it on mute. No Joe Tessitore, no Booger McFarland. Just like I watched the CBS 3:30 games. Thank God, that was the best part about being in the stadium this weekend was not having to listen to Gary Danielson. Although I really do like Brad Nessler. No action. I would lean towards the Niners as well, but no official play for me. Just be tuning in, see if I can learn a little bit more about these teams because I still feel like San Francisco is relatively unproven. Given they've only played 3 games so far. Still don't know everything about them. Want to learn more.
Jimmy G's been kind of I want to say disappeared in the fact that he hasn't been playing well, but that was a guy that when he first went to the 49ers was constantly being talked about and critiqued every single week, and now has kind of been able to get out of the spotlight and had his chance, I think, to finally become the quarterback he's going to be for the 49ers. Would you guys say that's fair?
You know, they still kind of haven't played anybody yet. They played a shoddy Bucs defense or a shoddy Bengals team and just a Big Ben-less Steelers. I want to see a little bit more. But I think the arrow's pointing up because he's got the right head coach to, kind of move him along into being a top-tier quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think still an unknown, as Scott mentioned, a not good Bucs team, an awful Bengals team, and then a Big Ben-less Steelers. So it's not. We still haven't really seen anything from him. He was hurt all of last year. I think the book remains to be written on Jimmy G. I think he is given every accommodation as it pertains to offensive coordinator, play caller, coach, weapons around him. He's got the recipe for success. There is nobody to blame but himself if he's not successful.
He's got a good stretch here too because he's got the Browns on Monday Night Football. Then they go to the Rams, and then cake game against the Skins, but then Panthers, who are looking pretty good. So this is a good couple weeks here to kind of prove what he's got.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, the NFC is just so freaking wide open. I mean, who's going to go seize it? I mean, the Packers laid some claim to it today, and the Niners can do it by getting a W tomorrow. But then, it's completely open.
Wide open.
Our guy, Russell Wilson. And then your NFC North is just, gross. You guys are just all above 500, but you're just going to beat up on one another for the rest of the season. And, I mean, if you're the Bears, you just can't go out and lose to the Raiders like that today if you have playoff aspirations. So
yeah, agreed.
That's going to be the hard part is every game is a have to win if you're playing your non-divisional games. You can't slip up like last year. I think the difference in the Vikings going to the playoffs and not going to the playoffs was I think it was week 3 or week 4 when the Bills went to Minnesota and Josh Allen ran all over them. And they came out with a win. And that's the difference between them going to the playoffs and them not. Kirk, I think, I forget who the broadcaster was, but he raised an interesting point. He goes, okay, at this point, if I'm a player on the team, if I'm Kyle Rudolph or if I'm somebody who's unhappy with how play is going for me, do I go on the local radio and call out Kirk Cousins or call out someone and say, hey, I want the ball more? Because this week you definitely saw the play calling was, look, we're gonna air it out, and it's your chance to either earn that trust back from us or or you can get out type of deal. And we saw how it worked out. Now, the Giants' defense is not exactly the greatest thing in the world, but it's going to be a very bumpy ride every week. And like you said, Scott, that division is just so gross. Because the Lions aren't a slouch either.
No, not at all. And they have an interesting matchup next week off the bye, going Monday Night Football against the Packers. That's going to be a juicy one.
Mm-hmm. NFC wide open, AFC cancel the rest of the games.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Pats in Foxborough. Let's get it on.
Let's go. Let's
just dance on my face.
Exactly.
Fast forward to January or whatever. What is it? January? Yeah.
But
let's make it happen.
But the Bills are going to be in there, though, right? They're going to be somewhere in the picture.
Bills are making the playoffs. They're
just not going to beat either of those teams.
No, they won't
Bills
be
are
either.
Good. They're fun to watch, and it's like the circle the wagons thing is fun for us, but they're not beating the Pats and in the playoffs, and they're definitely not beating the Chiefs.
I saw one of my buddies he lives in Tennessee and was at the game, and he's like frickin' Bills fans, and it's this guy in a tree. Climbs up in a tree and just jumps off of the tree into onto a table. Like, it's just unbelievable. These guys.
Somebody's gonna die.
Oh, they're gonna find any obstacle. They're just gonna keep getting higher and higher, and then it's all over.
These Bills fans traveled this weekend. I heard that they were all over Nashville, and they were drowning out the Tennessee fans today. So good for them. Good for Buffalo, man. They get excited about their Bills. I love it. Love it.
I saw a picture of fans walking into FedEx today for Redskins Pats, and there was not a single Redskins anything. It was just all Patriots stuff. Just all Edelman, Brady, everywhere. Jerseys.
If you're a Redskins fan, why would you? I mean, the stadium's in the middle of nowhere. You probably live in Metro DC. It's an hour and a half out there to get, plowed and then fight traffic on the way home. Like, who wants to do that?
That sounds like a great
Sit
day.
at home. Sounds terrible.
The video of the one guy in the Redskins fan and just you can tell it's this old tattered jersey, like just guy who's probably been a fan for forever. And they're recording this person and Tom comes out on the field for the first drive. He goes, "Take it easy on us, Tom. Take it easy on us. Just please don't hurt me. Just let us cover the spread so I can at least come out happy about that. Let me get the silver."
They got out to a 7-0 lead too, which was, they had the lead the first time the Patriots were losing all season to the Redskins. Of course, then they just threw up 33 unanswered. No big deal.
No big deal. NBD. But fellas, unless you got any other major things, draft competition wise, or how are we looking in the fantasy league?
Jared's still in first place.
Boom, baby. Come at me.
Yeah.
There we go.
I have a crazy stat.
Let's hear it.
In one of my tournaments, I'm in first place, and my quarterbacks are Big Ben and Cam Newton. So I've been getting 0 burgers from my quarterback position for the last 3 weeks, and I'm in first place. It's because I have Christian McCaffrey, I have Will Fuller, all these guys, DJ Chark, guys that have just been popping the past few weeks. I mean, the Will Fuller day today, I pray for your fantasy team if you went up against Will Fuller today. Of course, in one of my leagues, I dropped him a couple weeks ago, like a dum-dum. I was so frustrating. Maybe that's why I'm in last place in that league.
0 burgers.
So,
so
0
great.
burgers. And I'm in first place. It just doesn't make sense.
McCaffrey looks absolutely unbelievable. And I think it was my friend sent me the tweet of Mike Wilbon. And he goes, how is it that NFL scouts didn't think McCaffrey could be a elite level like every down back in the NFL? And Joel Klatt tweets him back and he goes, I'll give you one guess. And this dude responds to that just like a random Joe Schmo, and it's this guy just squeezing out a boatload of mayonnaise onto a table. This is great. That is perfect. But he had an unbelievable day. If you're Cam Newton, you kind of got to be thinking, where am I going from here?
I mean,
He's going to have a clothing line.
Is there a QB controversy in Carolina?
No chance.
I mean,
Kyle Allen, get out of here.
Oh, I know.
he's cheaper.
He is way cheaper. But
He's
that
cheaper.
no way.
They're not going to get rid
No
of
way.
MVP Supercam. If it was still MVP Supercam, wouldn't be having this conversation. But you got old lady Cam Newton wearing whatever the heck he's wearing for a post-game conference. With a little expecting him a little Red Riding Hood walking in next time. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of Pigskin Junkies, or I should say recap edition of this week's Pigskin Junkies. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please continue to rate, review, subscribe, tweet at us. Everything Scott was getting after today with the Twitter fingers. It was awesome. And once again, if you're listening to this and you, for some reason, don't know our Twitter, because I feel like really how you'd get here would be via Twitter. But anywho, at pigskin_junkies, however you're listening. It's awesome. We really appreciate it. I always love looking at the map, and sometimes I see China appear as a place that our podcast has been downloaded, and it's pretty crazy.
The sex bots.
It's true. I'm all in for it, though. But for myself, Michael Larson, and Big Brother Jared Larson, and Scott Panza, we're out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Whiplash.
See ya.